So Rusty Franklin was never my lawyer. He was my mom's lawyer. And my mom is actually the victim in the alleged crime. My mom planned, threw, cooked, catered for his wife's bridal shower like 40 years ago or something. So they're good friends. So my mom hired Rusty Franklin for $2,500. And Rusty was never my lawyer. He was my mom's lawyer, and my mom's the victim. And they illegally sent me to a mental hospital on one doctor's opinion. And they got the Susan Lavelle to give me fraudulent freaking assessment. And Rusty Franklin, in the end, he said, Your Honor, he's been deemed involuntary mental hospital. I have to quit due to personal reasons. And he turned around and he walked out of court. And my judge said, Oh, don't worry. We got plenty of lawyers here. And she assigned a black guy with dreads to me. And then we scheduled a meeting for after the weekend. But Rusty thought that they were going to handcuff me right there and put me back in jail to take me to a mental hospital. So basically, how can I prove that Rusty was my mom's lawyer, not my lawyer? For ineffective, inadequate counsel? Because this video right here is for the Florida bar. This is for the Florida bar. First of all, he only charged $2,500. My mom did his wife's bridal shower, and they conspired to put me in a mental hospital. And at the mental hospital, I get to the mental hospital, and the doctor at intake says, I get it. You're not crazy at all, but you tell me this. Why would you ever want to hang out with your mom and sister ever again? In the assessment that Susan Lavelle gave me, she gave me an assessment, and she said that all these things, I was so delusional. I was so delusional about this, that I needed 6 months mental hospital. If you Google any of the topics that she said I was so delusional about, and they're all facts. So basically, and so in the written, I'm writing out the ineffective, inadequate counsel on Rusty Franklin, and I'm mailing that in. But basically, and then I also have ineffective, inadequate counsel with Kalia Schilling. Kalia Schilling, she ended up being my mom's lawyer, she ended up freaking. I went to go meet the black guy. With dreads, my public defender, and Kalia comes down and she says, Dennis, she shakes my hand. Dennis, I'm going to be your lawyer. Blah, 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 blah. And said, no way. I said, I want the black guy with dreads. I hear he's really good. I'm going to get a second doctor's opinion. I'm not going back to jail waiting for a hospital bed. Yes, Dennis, that's the law. I'm going to fight for you. She said, and then so I signed on with her. Because she said the black guy with dreads was unavailable. So I signed on with her, and right after I signed on with her, she said, Dennis, I need to talk to your mom alone for a minute. And I said, you can't. My mom is the lying victim in the alleged crime. You're my lawyer, not my mom's lawyer. And if you talk to my mom, then you're going to end up being her lawyer, and you're not going to give me a second opinion, and I'm going to, no, you can't talk to my mom. Dennis, I still need to talk to your mom. She argued with me 3 times, and I realized I've been to 5 colleges. And I got my Series 7 and 66 to be a licensed financial advisor at Merrill Lynch in 2005, so I know how to study. So I know stuff about ineffective, inadequate counsel. And basically, your lawyer can't go talk to your freaking victim. That's freaking illegal. And so basically, I quit arguing with her, knowing that this was going to be ineffective, inadequate counsel. And then when I went back to my judge, I'd be able to tell my judge that I have 2 cases of ineffective, inadequate counsel. Well, that was 2 years ago. I never saw that judge again. After I got arrested, they arrested me for freaking a failure to appear in court. Kalia Schilling told me she was going to get me a second opinion. She ended up going and talked to my mom, and then after the weekend, she goes, oh, Dennis, my company's not going to pay for you to get a second opinion. You have schizophrenia. So I freaking left town, and I sold my van. I was going to get a new lawyer and shit and get a test and get my second opinion. It didn't work out. So basically, it didn't work out. So what I did, everything that Susan Lavelle on the assessment said that I was delusional and I needed 6 months mental hospital, I freaking researched all the topics, and I sent all the topics to Kalia Schilling, And I sent him to Susan Lavelle, hoping that Susan would see that she was wrong and contact the judge and make me not go to a mental hospital on one doctor's opinion. She did not. Kalia Schilling told me that freaking boom, she's not allowed to look at emails attachments. Her company won't let her. I'm like, even if it's for the case, she lied to me. And then she wouldn't give me she told me that freaking her company's not going to pay for a second opinion. So I wasn't going to show up in court. So I called her up. I called up and I said, my mom called me and she goes, where are you? And I said, oh, I'm not back yet. Let me talk to Kalia. And I said, Kalia, please get me a continuance. I'm allowed 2 continuances. No, Dennis, I'm not going to get you a continuance. She said she was going to fight for me. So without a doubt, Kalia Schilling and freaking Rusty Franklin did ineffective, inadequate counsel. That's grounds for case dismissed. Then, after I went to the mental hospital, when you get out of a mental hospital, the state has 30 days to put you in front of the judge so you can get a bond and get out and, competency hearing and all that. They took over 100 days. They forgot about me in jail. Nobody even came to get me. Over 100 days. I got bit by a freaking brown recluse, 2 brown recluse spiders. I ended up in the freaking hospital. I was denied medical treatment. Then this is crazy. So when I got out of the mental hospital, I had a new public defender because Kalia Schilling went to work for Gomez. And guess who my mom hired? My mom accidentally hired Kalia Schilling to be my lawyer when I wanted my mom to hire Gomez. So the girl that put me in the mental hospital illegally, it's just too much. And so basically, in the end, I have one more public defender, and my other public defender, she did not go to court. She missed court on January 6th. So that's 4 for sure ineffective, inadequate counsels that I can prove without a doubt in court. That's 4 cases right there. Maybe a 5th one with Gomez. So basically, that's ineffective, inadequate counsel. This is for the Florida bar. And so basically, I just want you guys to do your job and freaking boom, ineffective, inadequate counsel, and I'll get my case dismissed. If not, help me move my trial to Brevard County where I can get a fair trial.